All right, my name's Douglas Truth. Let's just get that out of the way. And words fail me. Yeah. All right, so what am I going to draw? Paint, draw. I think, I've got an idea for drawing. Maybe I'll talk about it as I go. So Tom is the pig. And she, in a certain way, is the boss. She's got a kind of a gravitas that, her nose is a little bit big here. And the small pupils. Does that mean fear? No, we don't want her scared. Kind of a thick body, porcine, to be quite accurate and without any sense of being pejorative. Tom is a lovely pig and a lovely person. So Tom is trying to tell me in the midst of our adventures in 2025 when all this happens, amazingly enough, that it trying to convince me of what, because I was saying our outlook was kind of dark sometimes, even compared to mine, which is, And she said, it's just hard to get over. And almost everybody, except maybe horses, the ruminants are good friends of Tom because the ruminants do not look at Tom and see food. And that's what most of us do, most of us humans. So here's Tom, and here's an aunt who really encouraged me to start this whole thing. The aunt's just a kook. I met her in a motel, not the way it sounds. We were both kind of on the road, and it was like a comic version of The Road. It's dangerous, scary, not very many humans left. Sorry about that. And so I'm, and there's an abandoned motel. Almost all of them are abandoned. And if they are not abandoned, you just stay the hell away, right? And Aunt was in the same motel for the same reason. She had lost her hive. Got washed away or something. She couldn't remember. Just woke up in the morning, just all alone, and that doesn't feel good to an aunt at all. And so just happenstance, right? It's karma, right? Without question. And I had said some previous encounters, good ones, because, we came together and it's like, friend, right? That's the way it was. And Aunt's got these legs, of course. And since she has 6 of them, she can stand on 4 legs, which is plenty, and wave her 2 others around in gestures and slightly, quasi-humanoid gestures, which she learned from me, basically. And I've learned aunt gestures insofar as I could do them from her. That's just the way friendships work, automatically. And aunt is, I didn't know what I was doing because I just made a passing reference to Heraclitus saying never step in the same river twice. And boy, did that get aunt going, because aunt has this group mind thing going, right? Aunt's got the group, they've been around for, 300-400 million years? I don't know, but as far as the ants were concerned, the dinosaurs were like, come and go, right? And so we humans, we've been around, 100,000, 200,000 years. Civilization, as we call it. 7,000 years? I don't know, depends. Not germane, anyway. Except insofar as that it's very, 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 very short as far as the ants are concerned. Although they are wildly impressed with our destructive capabilities. They're just like, amazing, they say. So anyway, Aunt says, we were there with Heraclitus. You guys had just have a few, 21 fragments? We were there for everything. We read the whole thing. And Heraclitus changed his mind. He said, no. Actually, what is more true to say, didn't say that was false. It is true to say you never stepped in the same river twice, but that's kind of a lightweight approach, Aunt says to me. and Tom's not really listening. Um, and Ant says, Eric has changed his mind and said, you cannot but step in the same river. It's always the same river. Always the same river that you step into. Right? And Ant says that's much more profound. And I think I agree. And I've got this beard that lends a certain profundity to my thoughts. I don't know how it works on you, but you know, when I go like this with the beard, it's like, yeah, there's depth there. Anyway, that's Aunt and I could go on about philosophy. She does most of the talking, if you can believe that, with me, right? Because she's just so much smarter. Group mind, the whole thing, which might be available to us humans, but we do not avail ourselves of it. And so Tom is risk averse, and Ant is not. And I don't know how that goes. I mean, you would think Ant would be risk averse. Well, not always tiny. Sometimes she's like this tall, but then I do not know how she pulls this off. It's kind of a Carlos Castaneda thing. I don't really know what it is, but sometimes Ant can be like as big as a house, right? Just like, and kind of just climb on top of the boulders and just, it'd be huge and have this, you know, it's slightly frightening, but, you know. So Heraclitus, we always step in the same river twice. No, I didn't mean, no, not twice. You know, I wish Aunt was here because she could clear this up for me. She's like, so we go on these adventures. And see, I get into storytelling and I stop. You know, what's going on? There's Tom and Aunt. We've got to have a landscape upon which they cavort. Aunt has these, whenever she wants, she has these bright red ant shoes. They're very much like, what they are to Aunt is what like a pair of bright red Chuck Taylor high-top Converse tennis shoes would be for a human. It's very stylish. And she is usually a very bright purple color with golden eyes. Like I say, usually. I mean, whatever she wants, really. Or conversely, whatever I want. I have some say in the matter, it seems. Just perforce. I guarantee it. Now we got Aunt, we got Tom. How could I forget? Already I'm in trouble now. Like he's, been there and seen it all. Well, the carrion eaters, right? They have a certain attitude that they, because they get shunned and stuff, can't use public bathrooms. It's like, and so Barry's just, and the thing about Barry, another loner, right? Usually traveled with, it's not a murder. They go to wakes. That's what the vultures call a dinner. Banquet, maybe a better word. Okay, so I've got everybody, all the crews in here. So glasses back on. I'm going to draw them. So 2025 is the arena, the time in which all these little stories are going to happen. Discussions about Heraclitus, and I don't know if we're going to get the Wittgenstein because software update will be auto-installed. Well, it's my phone. Don't get me started about modern technology. Tom agrees. I will say, in connection with disparate types getting along, that Aunt, Barry, Tom, Edith, and I, we see and sense each other as beings. Maybe that's what this catastrophe that we survived, that we lived through. Maybe that's what brings us there is we see each other as living beings with respect. We acknowledge that in each other. The disagreements and the different types, that's noise. But we see each other for what we really are as souls. And it's too bad that we humans couldn't do that back when, before we fucked everything up terminally. That we see each other as beings. Beings. Soulful. Maybe just a soul. And that, there's a lot of shitheads and assholes and murderers and, just like the worst, the worst, the worst. But they are part of the human family. I mean that. But we can try to move in that direction. And whenever social media gets our blood up, we just gotta let that shit go. Let that shit go. And realize that we're all here together. We are all here together. Here we are together. And it's difficult, right? But maybe that's our only job. I happen to think so. That humanity's only real job is that we connect with each other at an extremely deep level. Of course, there's all this noise, the discomfort, the dislike, the problems, the concerns, all of it. That's part of it. What's the use if it was all just easy? Kindness is always possible, and that's the place to start, I think. Kindness. Let your heart hurt. Let your heart be broken. Let your heart be shattered. Dragged down the road. That's the process. That's what happens here in this world. Alright, my name's Douglas Truth. And you didn't watch me paint, but we almost got there. Alright, take care.